Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Comic Corner. I'm sort of in a corner, and I'm going to talk about some comics that I just read, because I like comics, and I like talking about them and stuff. So this one I was very excited for. Chakra Zoo sent it to me. Chakra Plays, Chakra Zoo, good dude. He sent this one to me. It is Xmen. God Loves, Man Kills. This one starts out really brutal. There's these two little kids, and they're running from something. They're scared. They're talking about, like, what about our mom and dad? What are we gonna do? And like, it's like an older brother and little sister, and he's like, just keep running, just keep running. Like there's no way. We just gotta keep going. They get shot by this fucking asshole lady, and it's very brutal. It's not graphic in the way that they show like a ton of blood or anything, but it's very disturbing the way that things happen. They're like making an example of them. You got it says mutie over there, like, so they were mutants, and the people hunting them are anti-mutants. They got to get rid of them all. Magneto finds them hanging there, and he sets them free. I mean, they're already dead, but he takes them down so that the bad guys can't get their message across that mutants are bad or whatever. And then we meet William Stryker. He's reading passages from the Bible. Apparently, he's like a big famous like evangelist, like person like on TV and stuff. Talking about God and how God hates mutants and mutants are an abomination. And then he starts talking about Cyclops and Storm and Wolverine and Colossus. And at this point, for some reason, Shadowcat, Kitty Pryde, is she's called Ariel at this point, and I had never heard that before, so I thought that was kind of interesting. You got Nightcrawler, yeah, Ariel. I mean, I've heard her called Shadowcat or Kitty Pryde or just Kitty, but yeah, Ariel. That's kind of interesting. So the mutants hear about the tragedy. They go home and they decide they want to watch the Professor Xavier talk to this evangelist guy, on the live news, and it doesn't really go that well, and it makes all the mutants really frustrated because people are going to start believing this guy and thinking mutants are terrible. So they all go to the danger room, and they're able to figure out this complex situation. If they work together, they can figure out how to get out of this weird situation. There's the robots coming for this family or whatever, and so they figure out a way to do teamwork, and they get Wolverine out of the cage, and they it's cool. It's got Colossus doing shit. I really like. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of drama and a lot of action in this, and I really like that. So the bad guys managed to find Professor Xavier in a car, and Scott Summers, Cyclops, and Storm. They're in the car, and they appear to be killed in some gunshots and an explosion. And the other members find out that they've died, and so they're all kind of grieving and having shitty times. So these bad people that are attacking the mutants are called the Purifiers, and they're working with Stryker, Reverend Stryker or whatever, and they're going after the mutants, and they've got like special suits. They've got like special suits, so they're able, and special weapons, so they're able to attack the mutants. But as they're attacking, Magneto shows up, and Magneto has been an enemy of the X-Men this whole time, but he has learned about Stryker's plan and how he's going to just kill everybody, so he decides to help out and take down some of these bad guys. So Magneto wraps the bad guys up in metal, and then he takes them back, and they're able to interrogate them to the point where they tell them, they're working for Stryker and all that shit. I really like that, this comic panel. That's really cool. Some of the artwork in this is really, really good. And then it goes into this really creepy dream sequence where Professor X is being crucified and beat up and tortured by his own X-Men, who are like, they're using all their abilities. Kitty Pryde's like ripping out his heart. Nightcrawler's like biting his neck. Wolverine's slicing him up. Storm shoots him with the fucking lightning. And in the vision, he sees like a godlike character saying, do you accept? Do you denounce all your ways and just accept, and you'll be righteous or whatever? And he doesn't accept. And then they talk about it, like he's in a tube, and they're like just making him see this stuff, and they don't have him. They don't have his. They're manipulating his brain and the brains of Cyclops and Storm. So none of them are actually dead. They're all just being kept in the secret facility, and they're manipulating each other's brains so that, like, to trick Xavier into doing what they want, whatever. And then Stryker has a kind of a bunch of his backstory comes out where, like, he found out his wife was pregnant with a mutant, and so he killed the mutant, and then he killed his wife, and he was trying to kill himself, but he didn't kill himself. Found out that he thought that he was supposed to be doing God's work, which is killing the mutants because they're an abomination or something. And strange thing I didn't realize either is apparently at this point, Ariel, which is Kitty Pryde, is able to walk on air. She can basically fly because she's like phasing through gravity or whatever. So she's able to just like walk on air, which I didn't realize she could do that. There's some real cool artwork. They're on this train, and Magneto is able to get the train up, and people start shooting bullets at him. And I love the way that it's drawn over there. The bullets coming at Magneto are like, being deflected away with his shit. It's really cool. You can't see it quite as good as I can see it, but yeah, it's really neat. So Magneto's like, we gotta, I don't like you guys, but I'm gonna work with you because we have to work together to do this shit. Professor X, in the dream state, decides that he's like, fine, I'll accept, I'll do what you want, and he sends out a brain blast, and it hits Cyclops and Storm, and their noses start bleeding, and they appear to be dead. Again, for William, Stryker is having a big event at a big coliseum where he's gonna preach the hatred of mutants, and we need to be anti-mutant. We need to kill them all. And Stryker is interrupted by Magneto flying in. He opens up the dome and flies in, and they're like, he's not doing anything wrong at the moment, so we can't hurt him. He was just making an entrance. And people in the crowd are starting to rush him. They're wanting to stop him, and he was thrown back by a Professor Xavier psychic blast thing. So he's trying to keep the crowd back. They're trying to keep everybody back, but they're also being affected by Xavier's mind wave thing. So they're running out of time. They got to formulate a plan to get Xavier and Cyclops and Storm out of there. So Cyclops is able to kind of trick Xavier's mind into only focusing on one thing. So he shoots his blast, and it kind of bounces around, and they're able to break the machines and get Xavier. So then the X-Men decide, the only way they're gonna win this whole thing is if they actually go out and talk to him. If they do something crazy, it's gonna make them look like crazy murderers. So they go out and they start explaining their position, and why can't we all just accept each other, and why do we have to he's like, you're less than human, you're not human, and he is about to shoot Kitty Pryde, and he is shot by one of the cops. And the cop is like, that guy was about to kill an unarmed innocent girl who did nothing wrong, and so we're gonna let him go. They didn't do anything wrong. Professor X almost says that he will join Magneto, and the X-Men could join Magneto because he doesn't even believe in himself anymore. He almost killed the people he was looking out for, and Scott Summers comes out and he says, that's not gonna happen. We believe in your dream, and don't abandon the dream that we're supposed to be doing, because Magneto wants to be in control. He wants to be a dictator so that everything can be fine. So he can be in control, and everybody will prosper, and everything will be great. And, Xavier wants to live in harmony with everybody, and that was his whole thing. So he questioned himself, and Cyclops kind of brought him back from thinking that. And that's it. It's really, really good. The artwork's really good. The story is very compelling. It's very dramatic and deep, and it deals with several issues. It deals with race issues, and it just discrimination and religious issues, and questioning your sanity and stuff. And I think it's really, really cool. I think that was a good read, and I recommend people check that one out. This next one, I can't remember exactly where I got it. I don't think this was one that Shocker gave me. The Uncanny X-Men Colossus Unleashed Against the Genosians. And this one's got the fun little it's got Iron Sword. I used to have that game. I'm pretty sure that's Fabio, if anybody remembers Fabio. Anyway, it opens, there's something going on, people are fucking fighting. Big dude shows up, which I assumed was Colossus, and he saves the people from getting shot. And he doesn't remember shit. They don't remember shit. It seems like everybody in this comic has amnesia. I don't even know who some of these characters are. We get a strong guy. His name is Guido. Strong guy shows up, and he finds an unconscious Dazzler over here. And she doesn't know what's going on either. She has amnesia for some reason. I don't think they really explain where the amnesia came from. Why Colossus and her don't remember. She goes into this place. I don't really understand this comic. There's kind of a lot of weird shit. People are just trying to figure out who they are. Colossus meets this girl who's the most beautiful girl in the world, and he's like falls in love with her. Dazzler's trying to figure out who she is, and apparently her power is to turn sound into light. I didn't actually know that. I knew she did light things, but I didn't realize it turned sound into light. And she's like a popular singer, but I don't know. So this robot thing at this mansion is like telling her backstory, and she used to be a part of the Xmen. She used to be a superhero. And there's a lot of pages of just not a whole lot going on. The art style, it's good. It's really good art, but to me it's so bland and like of its time. This one, what was this one? 1980. Yeah, this is the style of the 1980s. It's just kind of bland to me. Dazzler gets on stage and she sings and everybody loves her singing. And then some bad guys come and like try to steal from the place she's singing, and her powers reignite and she's able to melt the gun out of the guy's hand and blast him away with light. And that's basically it. Hey, it's got a neat RoboCop thing in there. So that's cool. Let's see, what do we got at the end here? We got Castlevania advertisements and shit. We got weird-looking Gray Hulk. On the back, we got Sky Shark Nintendo game. I didn't really care for this one. It was just not a whole lot. Just people not remembering shit, and I mean the artwork is great, but it's not my style. So I'd pass on that one. I don't really care about it. I appreciate having it. It just doesn't do it for me, really. And, not all comics are going to. This last one was given to me by Chakra, and it's Shadowhawk. And I don't even know if I noticed that it says who is Shadowhawk. Cha-ching! Says it up there. And I also didn't notice that this is a #1, unless I'm mistaking that. I don't know how good that is or what that means, but it definitely does seem like an origin story. You can even see the outline of his face at the bottom. It's raised. I really like it. It's very weighty. So some gangster punks on a street are they're coming to rob and possibly kill this homeless looking person. Turns out this homeless looking person is Shadowhawk, and he just fucking destroys them because he's got like this crazy suit of armor. He looks like Iron Man Wolverine or whatever. And he's got like claws and a belt with some shit on it. And I really, really like the artwork on this one. It's very, very crisp. So anyway, he breaks the people's spines and he just kind of leaves them there. And the cops are like, this guy left people without their spines. They're still alive. And it's written also in this very strange way where we're getting his internal monologue or whatever, and it's like him talking to himself. So anyway, these like text boxes are like him talking to himself, and he's like, "It's you that jumps out of the shadows. It's you that breaks their spines and jumps around like a crazy Wolverine Iron Man." So then we get bad guy Arson shows up. Arson is there, and he's just setting fire to shit because he likes the chaos or whatever. He's a mercenary or something. And he just likes setting fire to shit. And then this homeless woman is about to get attacked by some other douchebag guys. And what do you know? Good old Shadowhawk pops in, talking to himself about what's going on, being just completely a badass, looking as cool as possible, just taking people down while he rambles to himself. This is really, really good artwork. Very, very crisp. I don't know. I think it looks really, really good. This artwork is very, very... It's easy on the eyes, I'd say. And we find out that Shadowhawk has shurikens, these little hawk beak looking shuriken things that can come, like, fly out, knock a gun away, come back to you, bust through a window. There's a beautiful splash page. Look at this shit. I mean, that's solid. That is some solid shit right there. Still talking to himself. Apparently he's one of those types, like Daredevil type, to like swing around with like a rope thing, Spider-Man style. And that's it. The splash page is how it ends, and he's like, showdown with arson next time, and we don't know who the mysterious Shadowhawk man is. And that's at the end. This is an Image comic, so Image has their own set of superheroes. That one looks like Jean Grey, but it's called like Infinity or something. We got the others, crazy looking characters here, beastie looking people. Youngblood, I guess Image does Youngblood, and Brigade. That's pretty cool. And Pit. I believe I've heard of Pit. That face looks familiar, but I don't know anything about it. And so that's that one. I think it's really good. The artwork really engages me a whole lot. The story was okay. It's basically, I mean, they're just setting stuff up. We don't know anything about the character, who his identity is, why he's doing it. He's just out there talking to himself while he kills people or breaks their backs and whatever. And it's really good. I mean, I didn't really care about the story, but it wasn't really. I don't feel like it was about the story. They're just setting shit up at this point. I think it's cool. I think the artwork is fantastic, and I do recommend this series. I don't know if it gets any better or worse, whatever, but I do think this is a very cool one. Shadowhawk is cool. And that's it. So I hope some of you guys are comic fans and you enjoyed hearing about it. Maybe learned something new. Maybe just whatever. Just killing some time. I appreciate you guys watching. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking and feeling. If you're a comic fan, if you're not, or whatever. Yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.